The year was 1911. Nevada's desert stretched out like an endless ocean of gold under a burning sun, the air shimmering and trembling in the heat. And somewhere between Reno and that empty horizon, a train simply disappeared. It didn't break down. It wasn't robbed. It just vanished. They called it the Silver Crown Express, a small passenger line run by a company that no longer exists today. It carried miners, merchants, and mail across the vast desert tracks. On the morning of July 14th, it left the Carson City station right at 7:30 a.m. sharp. The train was engine number 21, pulling 6 cars. It was scheduled to arrive in Reno well before sundown, but it never did. By nightfall, the telegraph stations were buzzing with frantic confusion. No one had seen the train. There were no reports of whistles, no smoke plumes on the horizon, not even a distant sound. When the sun came up the next day, search parties mounted on horseback set out. They followed the tracks for miles and miles until something impossible happened. The tracks themselves disappeared, completely buried under a strange, unnatural wave of shifting sand. The searchers found a few scattered items, an old oil lantern, half buried in the dust, a conductor's hat lying forlornly on the ground, a single shoe, but that was it. Not one body was ever recovered, not a single piece of steel from the engine or the cars, not even a splinter of wood. It was as if the desert had opened its mouth and swallowed the entire train end, every soul on board in one single silent breath. At first, the newspapers dubbed it the ghost train of Nevada. Reporters made light of the situation, joking that the train must have taken the wrong track to heaven. But as the weeks stretched into months, the jokes stopped. Families of the missing passengers began writing letters, desperate for answers. They wanted to know where their loved ones were and why no one was telling them the truth. The railroad company went completely silent. Their official record offered only a chillingly brief entry: Train No. 21, unaccounted for. That was all. But in the small desert towns scattered across the region, whispers began to circulate. People spoke of a sandstorm, but not a normal one. They described a colossal wall of wind and dust, so powerful it literally changed the shape of the land overnight. The old Paiute tribes had a name for such a phenomenon: the breath of the mountain. They said that sometimes, when the wind howled in just the right way, the desert would open its mouth. Years passed. The story of the Silver Crown Express began to fade into legend. Then, in 1923, a prospector named Henry Lyle came forward, claiming he had found the truth. He said he'd been digging for silver near an old, forgotten mining route when his mule stumbled on something hard, buried deep under the sand. It was iron. Intrigued, he kept digging, and there, buried under 30 feet of tightly compacted sand, was a rusted train coupling. It was still connected to part of a rail car. Lyle swore that at night he could hear a faint metallic ringing coming from deep below the ground, a sound like wheels grinding on a track far beneath his feet. Of course, no one believed him. They called him crazy. That is, until he returned from the desert carrying a single piece of blackened steel. Stamped clearly on its surface were the words, Crown Line 21. The railroad company dismissed it as a mere coincidence, a piece of scrap from some other forgotten project. But their denial became harder to believe in 1956. Archaeologists surveying the area for a new highway project found twisted, ancient iron rails buried exactly where Henry Lyle's story said the train had vanished. The evidence was there, deep beneath the sands. To this day, no official record explains how or why it happened. No storm of that incredible scale was ever scientifically documented. No survivors were ever found. The story of the Silver Crown Express remains an open wound in the history of the Old West. But if you ever find yourself driving across Highway 15, known as the loneliest road in America, some locals will tell you to pull over and listen. They say that on still, quiet nights, you can sometimes hear the train's whistle, a single, low, ghostly tone drifting through the dark desert air. Truckers have reported seeing strange, faint yellow lights moving in a line across the distant sand, not headlights and not campfires. They describe a row of glowing orbs, slowly following invisible tracks through the night. Some will tell you there's a scientific explanation for all of it, a freak weather event, a geological anomaly. Others say it's just memory, a story that has grown more powerful with time. But maybe some stories never fade because they were never supposed to. So tonight, wherever you are, try this. Close your eyes. Imagine that endless Nevada desert. Picture the stars above, so bright and clear they seem to hum in the silence. See the horizon glowing faintly under the moon. And now, listen closely. Can you hear it? That soft, distant echo, like a heartbeat wrapped in wind. The train that vanished into the desert still rides on, somewhere between truth and time. It carries passengers who never reached their station, but who also never stopped moving. Because sometimes, history doesn't just end, it just keeps traveling, quietly, through the dark. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoy mysteries like this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the shadows of history. See you next time.